Live on the internet, real quick. I wanted to jump on real quick. I see that we're live now. This is fantastic. We're streaming on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. And I have a special guest today that I wanted to bring in because I was reading the newspaper, and there's something that happened this week, and it was the headline in the Monitor. It says the next powerhouse. Edinburgh Mayor Ramiro Garza signed an initiative along with other local mayors and Governor Greg Abbott at the RGV's. This is the first economic summit. So what I did is I reached out to a friend of mine, Mr. Daniel Silva from the RGV partnership. We've got dialed in live on the line. Daniel, hi, what's up, man?
Good afternoon, Drew. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, dude, this is so cool, man. It seemed like there was a great attendance here. It seemed like there was a lot of people. Tell me, what did you do? What is this thing? Why are we the next powerhouse? What was the governor doing down here, and how did you get 47 mayors in one room?
Yeah. So it was definitely a thing. And it was fantastic, funnest thing I've ever done, most stressful thing I've ever done. This was about a year in the making. Yeah. So it was our economic summit. You know, when I started the partnership about a year ago, last month, we had started talking about the Valley needs a go-to economic representation.
Okay.
A go-to entity that, that a mayor can say, go talk to so-and-so, you need information, so-and-so has it. And so this started with Judge Cortez and Mayor Garza out of Edinburgh and Mayor Villalobos out of McAllen. And they were saying, look, we need somebody. And Alex Meek, who was involved, and Jesse with both of them out of Texas Regional. And they said, the partnership is a good entity. Let's approach them. Partnership's been around since 1944. We, for those that don't know, we're a valley chamber. We cover the entire Fort County region, Star, Willis, Cameron, and Hidalgo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. First and foremost, what is the RGV partnership? What are you doing there? I mean, what do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? What does that mean to the rest of the world? You said it's like the chamber of the Rio Grande Valley. Is that about right?
Yeah, it is and it's not. So we're a partnership more so. So there's chambers and there's partnerships. Partnerships are more regional efforts, like there's the Greater Houston Partnership, the San Antonio Chamber Alliance. There's a couple of other regionals throughout the state. Our focus is transportation, healthcare, economic development, workforce development, ports of entry, infrastructure. We get behind initiatives that are going to help the region, and we pull in assets. We pull in.
And that sounds like a lot of coordination, man. I mean, you're working with all the different mayors, city managers, city council. Like, it's got to be that in and of itself is not the easiest thing to do.
It is, and it's not. Coming from the city of Mission, I was the EDC director over there. My focus was one geographical region. Perhaps that would help outside of the city of Mission, but my focus was the city of Mission. So when I stepped into this role, the focus is the entire region. So I have the privilege of being able to call up Mayor Collin out of Brownsville and say, hey, we have an organization that's looking for more information on Port of Brownsville. We can call up Eddie, or we need somebody who can talk to us about wind farms. We call up somebody in Arlington. So I have regional assets that I can reach out to. A lot of my board is 54 members large.
Wow.
There's a lot of, we have the CEOs of the major hospital systems. We have representation from all of our school systems, higher ed. And so it's great. It's a great organization. I have great leadership. And really our focus is to promote and push what's best for the region. So the merger of the UT system of Texas of UT Pan Am and UT Brownsville to come to UT RGV. We were behind that. The I-69 extension into the valley.
Don't get started. We're going to start blaming you for the construction.
We need that
it's nothing good comes without some of that, and it's going to be really cool when it's done. But I did have to drive from the Mid Valley up to Edinburgh the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder everyone's complaining. That's pretty bad.
Right, it is bad, but I mean, if you think about when you're in your teenage years, when you were having growing pains, your bones hurt, and you had to go through some uncomfortableness to get to the stature. What are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'4", yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a process, and so we have the same thing with the infrastructure system. So back to our event,
So what was it? You had, okay, a year in the making, you did this at the Burdock Arena, right? And you had,
Yes.
I mean, it's not a small venue, and it would have looked ridiculous if only a few people showed up. I got invited. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I had to lead a conference call, and I was bummed because I wanted to be there and see what was going on. Just to have that many people representing that much of the Rio Grande Valley all in one place, and to have the governor come down. I mean, that's awesome. Tell me about the event.
So the event, I thought your name on the list. I was excited to be there. I fully understand that you had other things pop up, but the event was great. Putting it together, we started about 4 months ago. We wanted a keynote speaker. It was going to be our kind of our ceremonial. Everybody is getting behind the Rio Grande Valley Partnership to be the go-to entity for marketing, economic development need. And so we had a couple of planning sessions. Reached out, and Mayor Garza out of Edinburgh was instrumental in getting the mayors together at the table. We had a lunch at Hawk Duos. It was just a brainstorming. Hey, can you all get behind this? And we had about.
You got it with our doodles. That's how you reeled them in, man. With those tacos of steak and the frog legs. Yeah. Let's go. Who can say no, man?
all roads lead to Westaco. Westaco, being the center of the valley, it made it easy for everybody to come together.
Well, as someone from Mercedes, I don't know if I would say all these, roads lead to Westlaco, but I mean, it's close enough. I'll take Mid Valley any day.
It is pretty close. So we had a round table. We had all the mayors come in. We had some mayors come in, and we had some EDCs come in, and we said, look, this is something that we want to do. Do we have your buy-in? Mm-hmm. And they all unanimously said, yes, we need, a motto at the partnership is one region, one voice. So we started pushing that.
And you alluded to this a little bit with the marketing announcement, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where you said all the mayors had gotten behind RGV Partnership as the marketing arm for the Rio Grande Valley, which is incredible to think that there's one organization that's going to try and take that on above and beyond all the efforts of the individual communities. So you alluded to something was happening with that. And so this seems like this was the big, you said, this is the big announcement, the big welcome for it.
Yeah, it was a big announcement. So second meeting, we had, after the first meeting, I had people calling me, why wasn't I invited? How did we get involved? And so I saw we were onto something. We had a second meeting at Westaco City Hall, and we had about, 60 people in attendance.
Awesome.
I shouldn't just say people. These were dignitaries. These were mayors. These were a couple of elected officials at the state level, city managers, EDC directors. And everybody was behind it. Everybody said, yes, we agree. So we reached out to the governor. We said, this is something we're trying to do. We want you to be our keynote speaker. So we're asking, when are you available? We first tried in June.
Mm-hmm.
But we had special sessions. So we had July special sessions. And then, so he said, we can do August 17th. So we found out last week, August 17th. Really last week. Okay, so we planned it. Hey, let's start moving. But we didn't know the time. So then he said, Next Decade was doing an event down at Port Brownsville at 1 o'clock. So we were trying to get something before that because obviously, it's huge, $18.7 billion for LNG. We want to get in the way of their event.
Of course.
So the governor said 10 o'clock. We can have the event from 10 to 12.
There you go. Well, I wish you would have called me so that I could have attended because I would have let him know that I had a conflict at that time. But whatever. Sometimes I'm not as important as the governor, but I'll take it.
He came in, we coordinated, we had a couple of walkthroughs. DPS came in on Tuesday, we did a walkthrough with them, and really, it was a great event. We had 47 mayors, we had about 30 of them there. We had elected state representation with all of our elected officials. We had Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz from the federal side, U.S. representation. It was good. It was fantastic to see all of those people come together and get behind the one regional voice. And so the governor got on stage, and he was elated to see the region come together. All of our dignitaries in one room, and they got on stage. They signed a compact. We had something that I sent out to everybody. This is a pledge that we're all working towards regional efforts, marketing the region, bringing in bigger companies.
That's so great. I'm looking at the monitor. The front page of the monitor. It's got you guys. It says the next powerhouse on here. Tell me about that quote. What a quote. Who said that, and what does that mean? Why are we looked at as the powerhouses?
The governor said that, and if you think about it, there's been talk. well, we need to have one MSA. There's talk about we need to have regionalism.
Absolutely.
When you put the 4 counties together, we have 1.4 million people in population.
Golly.
When you include the Mexicans, the southern side of the border, that's another 1.4. We're looking at 2.8 million people. That makes us the second largest region, second largest region, border region in the United States.
It's incredible.
So it's huge because now we're no longer saying, okay, well, we're in the city of McAllen, 137,000 people. We're the city of Brownsville,
But I mean, but okay. So here's the thing. I mean, like real talk, right? That mentality, and I heard it referred to one time, and I thought it was the best. Was the Friday night mentality, and it was and still like I joke about Weslaco just because I'm from Mercedes. I don't have anything against Weslaco. I don't have anything about Cal Chelsea either. But I mean, I have to give them a hard time because La Máquina, you know what I mean? And so there's still that. I hang on to it, and maybe I'm part of the problem, right? But. I've sat on a couple boards that are valley-wide, and when you go down to Cameron County, there's very little representation from Hidalgo. When you're in Hidalgo, there's very little representation from Cameron. So seeing all of these people in this room, we did the broadband conference at the RGV a couple of weeks ago, and seeing people from all over the valley there was such a great sign of things to come. And it wasn't 30, 40 mayors. These were people who were just genuinely interested. Are we starting to see those barriers torn down? I mean, what finally made sense? And I'm not going to tee you up to take the credit for being the director of the RGV partnership, but what is it that's happened now where that and Jesus Peñas is Puro 956? What has happened where that Puro 956 mentality has come in and taken over that Hidalgo versus Cameron, us versus them, and Harlingen versus McAllen?
I think there's been a couple of things that have happened. One, the university system merger.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I think us pushing for medical school, pushing for higher ed improvements. I think that was a big deal. But then at the same time, we're growing, and I think the cities are finally starting to realize their niche. Like, this is what we focus on. This is what we're good at, and we can complement the region. And I mean, we're out on the expressway right now. We drive from one part of the region to the other, and it doesn't really phase us. We live in Edinburgh and work in Harlingen.
That's right.
We live in McAllen and work in Weslaco, and so we travel to get to our employment and get back to our homes, and we traverse so many different cities. So I think that geographical boundary is starting to dissolve, and also, I mean, if you look at the development, commercial development, you really don't know when you're leaving the bar and you're entering Mercedes.
Yeah, like how many people know the DHR is in Edinburgh? You know what I mean? It's like, that's not Edinburgh, it's McAllen, Top
how many people know that the Driscoll Children's Hospital that's being constructed is in Edinburgh? I mean, it's huge. There's so much development that's taking place that I think we're finally realizing, hold on, we're growing by leaps and bounds. Our development is so accelerated because national brands are finally starting to pay attention to us.
Yeah, look at the Zoho deal.
Organizations.
Man, that's great. So I'll let you get back to your day. I don't want this to be too long a conversation, but I really wanted to hear what this thing was. Let me ask you though, out of all of it, give me the neta, like the real, give me the no BS. What was your favorite thing about it? I mean, other than seeing the people come together and having the governor there, I've known you for a while. This is a pretty big event, even for you, my friend. So walking away from this, there's enough buzz that if you read about it in the paper and you care about things like this in the Rio Grande Valley, that you felt like, hey, this is a moment. This is a moment that something is happening. Walking away from this, what do you feel is going to be the largest impact of this economic summit, and where do we go from here? What's the next step to really help you guys achieve the goals, and what can the community do to get involved?
Yeah, so two things. One, the governor saying the next powerhouse. So to answer that question, it was the governor who said it, and he said, with the Rio Grande Valley coming together, we are a force to be reckoned with at a national level. Mm-hmm. People are going to get to know the biggest thing that's happening in the state of Texas. Our growth is phenomenal, and so yes, we are the next. Companies are going to start looking in our direction. And the second thing, this is more on a personal level. I stood up there, turned around, as cliche or as it may sound, I wanted to take a selfie with everybody behind me. And when I looked when I had my notes on my iPad, so I actually used my iPad like an old man to take notes. And so I took a selfie, and when I saw how packed it was, and when I saw, Senator Hinojosa taking in the front, and René Ramirez with Pathfinder, and when I saw all the mayors up there, that just it shook me. It made me so happy inside because all of these people are coming together and they understand this is something we need to do. And so the next steps really is now we need a role for cities and we need to start working. Sometimes it's just bringing people together, being the liaison. If we have a company that's coming in and they need to talk to assets in the region, I can bring next decade. I can bring SpaceX. I can bring somebody from the foreign trade zone in McAllen. I can bring somebody from the hospital systems.
Yeah.
And then we start that conversation and we address needs quickly. So to answer your next steps, we need it. I want to start having quarterly events. Obviously, a lot smaller than this. I do not want to do this level of event.
We're not the burnout in the arena every quarter. That's what you just said. So that's great.
but quarterly events where it's focused subject matter. So if we're going to be talking about healthcare, I can bring some of the CEOs of the hospitals.
Great. From all of them. Not just from one, from all of them. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
And roundtable discussions of what are your needs? How do we solve it? We can have workforce solutions there. How do we address it? We can have the high school systems there. How do we prepare for that? And then we start solving problems. And the same thing with workforce development or with economic development. What do we need? We don't have any speculates. All the EDCs can be together, and site selectors can come in. We can address issues, and we can take action. And so those are the next steps.
That's awesome, man. I'm so excited to hear it. As someone who grew up down here and came from down here, I love seeing the growth in the Rio Grande Valley. And sometimes there's some growing pains there. Where the Zoho arguments, and the LNG stuff, and the SpaceX stuff, where we're doing so many great things from a growth perspective, but there's also that socioeconomic impact, right? Where it's not. There's two sides to every story, just like the expressway, right? I mean, it's the same thing. There's a little bit of pain. So I think the greatest thing about that we saw is the healthy debate that comes along with that is the community actually getting involved, and that is, I can't wait to see what you do.
Yeah, we have civic duties as citizens in our communities. We need to get out. So there's something we don't like, we need to voice our opinion as elected officials and have them decide what's best. And if we don't like the decision, and if the decision goes south and it's bad for the community, well then we have a civic duty of elections, and we go out and we voice for who we think is going to best represent us.
Absolutely. Now that's the next question. What are you going to do to help make sure more people vote in the Rio Grande Valley? But we're going to save that one for later. Anyway, Daniel, dude, thank you so much for jumping on at short notice. I know I talked to you about this yesterday. I really appreciate it. It's something that I wanted to talk about, and I figured I'd share it with everyone else. But thanks again for jumping in, and keep us updated with everything that's going on. We look forward to all the greatness that's happening over there at the RGV partnership.
Thank you, Drew. I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me on.
Yeah, of course, man.